Hey gang, Chris here. This is the latest video in my series on SpAIceRocks, the game I created with AI. Today I'm going to be talking about the publishing process and all the ways that I use artificial intelligence to generate store assets, videos, audio, that kind of stuff in order to get ready for placement on the Steam store. So if you're not familiar, there's a whole series that I've done now on this. You can download all the game content at my GitHub here, which the link will be in the video, and it's under SpAIceRocks. But as I said, today I'm really going to be looking at all the stuff you need to get ready for getting on the store. So this is what the Steamworks site looks like once you have an account. You go in here, in order to prepare your game for publication, there's a lot of stuff you have to prepare assets for the store that are used in different spots for their advertising for you. So all these different assets, you can in fact, and you see there's just a ton of arrangements here. You can in fact use their Photoshop templates. They have templates you can download to do this work, but I tell you, Photoshop is not the way to go for this approach. Instead, because I have a graphic design background, I did jump into, this is not AI, this is the one part of it that's not AI, okay, but just follow along. I went into Illustrator. Illustrator will allow you to do not asset export, but artboards. You can export all of your artboards at the right dimensions that you need for all the different flavors of art in one click, and it'll generate them all, and it'll put suffixes based on the artboard names against all of your art assets. So if you get into this process, I encourage you to go to my GitHub, which is again here, and inside the Designs and Pipelines folder under Steamworks Art, I have the Illustrator file right here. There's the one, and there's the icon one as well. It's a PNG. It's the art files. That's the one you need. Okay. I also have one for social media because of like LinkedIn headers and Facebook and that kind of stuff. But the art files AI, I encourage you to use that. You should do all your layout in one spot. You have brand consistency throughout, and then you could just click, and as you add more, if you find something new, I started out adding some social media stuff here because I was lazy and added that just to the list. But all of these different flavors you're going to need for placement on the store. You need this thing called the header capsule, and you get the small capsules, and the main capsules, and the vertical capsule, and then of course the a background image for the page on the site. So all of that's not AI, okay, but it will save you a lot of time as opposed to trying to use those separate PNG files. Just don't do that to yourself. All right, so now on to the more interesting stuff. And if you're not clear on this workflow, it's file, export, and then export for screens, and file, export, as. And you'll see down here it says use the artboards and use the suffixes. It's super simple. And you see all my output files right there. I just regenerate them every time I needed them, or just pick the particular range of files I want. Anyhow, so that's just basic AI, not artificial intelligence, but Adobe Illustrator. I'm sure they have some branding issues there that they probably don't care about. Okay, but let's get into the more interesting part, the AI. So when you're publishing the game on Steamworks, man, do they want a bunch of different file format types. JPEG, PNG, ICO files, which I get, Targas, which I kind of giggled because Targa is like old as the 1980s. But what I found is that as I was getting into the process, I was trying to get through this as quickly as I could, and the formats that they needed just kept piling up. So what I did was I went to Claude.ai. For some reason, I decided to use the Claude interface here instead of VS Code, and I'll just walk you through what I did. So the first thing I did was write a Python script that takes a command line argument from my icon PNG file and generates square icons that are all these different sizes here. And I looked at their website. They have a little how-to. It's like, we need all these image sizes. And actually, this one I think might also have been for Unity, because Unity has its own needs as well. This is actually the Unity icons. That's right. And so, of course, it did that no problem. It just generated them all. It takes in the icon that you need. This is how you'd run the script if you download the script as well, which I don't think I mentioned to you. But also in the repo, there is a Python script for generating all of these different bits of artwork. It's in the icons folder. Okay, so I'm going to Steamworks Art, icons, and it's generate icons right there. So as you see, then it spits out all the images into your different into your output directory here, your generated icons directory. So, but I want to kind of walk you through the logic, because I didn't know all the formats when I first started. This is my first time publishing to Stain, and again, I think they could use a rehash on the different formats that they're asking you to use. Anyhow, so you do that, and then it's going to need Pillow, which is an image library with Python, which is really powerful. I had one error, so I got that fixed. And then there's some more resolutions. So I just added the resolutions and also generate ICO files. Yeah, they need ICO files too, which icon files are multi-resolution images. So this is a pretty powerful format. It went through, added that just within seconds. And same sort of command line, no problem. And as I said earlier, target files. Okay, guys, so I added target files, but just one line, and I added it to the script, and bam, it had that. And then, of course, later, I learned they needed JPEG files too. Okay, man. So, as it is, within just a small amount of time, it took way more time to learn what the image types were, because I was reading and trying to understand it, than it did to actually update the file to make this script. Same file. It now has the resolutions. I could actually set the background color to black. I think it was doing something. I can't remember what it was doing there, but I made it black. And that's it. So that really slingshotted me, if that's the right version of the verb, to be complete with having to deal with all the image assets and the icon flavors, both for Unity and for the app. And just an idea, this is the first set of PNG icons that I created at the different resolutions. That was the first thing at the very top of that history. And then it spat them all out. I drug them into Unity, and I wired them into the different icon sizes that was needed. That's totally fine. And then when I learned I had to have these other pieces, then I just went through and updated the script. And here's what the script looked like. Okay, pretty straightforward. It just hashes through all the sizes and the resolutions and spits out the images on the other side. So that was pretty sweet. So now I had all the images I needed for the store, the icons that I needed for the app, and also for their website. And then the next was to do a trailer. Now, they will let you just upload a flat image for a trailer. You don't have to have a video. In fact, let me talk about screenshots real quick, and then we'll talk about the trailer. Screenshots, super easy. Yeah, you could kind of go old school and do the little screen snipping thing here if you want to, and then try to tweak the sizes. But if you're in Unity, at this time I was asking the AI assistant from Unity what it recommended. And it said just use Recorder, which is just a package that you install with Package Manager. It's real straightforward. It's an easy install. I filtered the Recorder here already. It's just a Recorder package. One of the slickest tools. You can do screenshots and you can do movies. See image, movie, and you just set it all up, what kind of encoding you want, and it'll just spit it out for you. So that was a wonderful, wonderful package that a lot of the pros, I'm sure, already know about. But if you're junior to the space, do yourself a favor and use this Recorder. It's super slick. You just hit play, you record everything, and when you stop, it spits the video out. It's pretty sweet. Okay, so that gave me all my screenshots. And then I talked about the library assets already and all those different flavors. And then, of course, up here, the broadcast I didn't really do. So the other thing, I think the story asset is where the trailer was located. And so the trailer, you know, I did a playthrough, as you would expect. It was just a regular trailer. Just a playthrough. I used the Recorder. But I wanted something a little more on the front and the back end. I wanted the character to wink, the girl to wink. Just as a little fun. I wasn't expecting too much from AI, but I did that. And I already shot a video on this, so I'm not going to rehash it too much. You just go to replicate.com. They charge per use, which is so wonderful. And I have this little LinkedIn post I did on this already with a little video. But she's essentially winking her little eyes right there in this little second video just with a command. I did it in one shot. So I'll put a link to this little posting as well so you can watch that. I also wanted to see how far I could go with AI voiceover. Instead of just using music for the trailer, I had Claude or one of the AI, Gen AIs, give me a brief summary of what the game was about. And I mentioned something else to you here in just a minute. I did that. Now, 11 Labs is the forerunner in terms of voice. They do it for VO. I listen to a podcaster called, I think, This Day in AI. And if that's the right one, there's also a daily podcast. And he uses it to read articles in his voice. Goodness, is it amazing. So they're a little pricey. You have a cheap, like a $5 a month. You get some voiceovers that you can generate, but if you want to do something really big, it goes to 11 and then higher. So this is just some lower free tier credits that I have here. And I'll show you, they have a voice library. Here's two I looked at. I looked at Sarah. I'll play her real quick. I don't know why it did that, but let me go to Sarah and play her.
The years teach much which the days never know.
Good and articulate, kind of clean, but really bland when I actually read the content here. Katie, a sassy teen.
No garden is without its weeds.
So she sounded great here. When I had her read it, it was still a little monotone. I wasn't willing to pay to tweak it, but you can actually pay to tweak the voices and do some other things to tailor it if you want to go for a paid tier. But it was good enough for me. And that resulted in this little set of voiceover files here, which I won't play back. You can go play the trailer on the website to see what it's like. But I had the 11 Labs, Katie, she did her thing. I overlaid the voice on top of the trailer, and I used After Effects for that. So that was not AI, it was just After Effects putting the audio with the trailer. And that trailer again was a playthrough with two bumpers. The bumper that I talk about here in this video, I put it at the beginning and I put it at the end, along with some standard trailer work as far as After Effects is concerned. And there's one last thing that I did do on the storefront. You'll see, I think, description. All of this description here, as you can imagine, I just tossed the whole source tree into Claude. I said, hey, Claude, can you give me a storefront description as to what this is? Well, of course, in seconds, it gave me that. I copied it right in, made a couple of tweaks, and I was good to go. So the whole process in going from nothing to getting onto the store, it honestly took me maybe 2 hours, 3 hours tops with AI. A lot of that was me trying to figure out more about what to do with Steam than it was actually making the content. The video editing did take some time. Okay, that took some time to get the bumpers in place and to get the voiceover sounding just right. That took some time. But I didn't go hire a voice actor. I used an AI model, and I didn't have, myself do it. So instead of normally you'd go to like Fiverr and you'd hire a voice actor or actress to read the text for you, and then you'd hire them, and then you'd put it in. So all that workflow was replaced with a reasonable 11 Labs voice. I'll tell you what took the longest, though. It was the actual timeline from beginning to end to getting onto the store. You have to go through a lot of paperwork on the front end to prove your legal entity. Okay, fine. They say that up front. Don't expect to get anything done for 30 days. So, great. You file the paperwork, your tax information, and you just wait. But I'll give you a tip. Keep your eyes on it, because you might be able to get something done sooner. I was waiting for them to tell me when it was ready. That did not happen. I had to go and dig. So that was one communications failure there that delayed me some. But when I actually got in and started moving with the publishing, that went really quickly. And then the painful part was, even if you're ready to publish, you want to turn it on right when you're done, you can't do it. First, you have to go through the process where they look at your binary file and make sure that you're following the rules. That's fine. Apple does that too. As a standard, first-party publisher thing. They want to make sure that you're putting good content on their platform. That's totally fine. But what they really I didn't really appreciate as a publisher is they force you to wait 2 weeks. They force you to have the file ready, everything publishable, all the art's good, you go green across the board on the little dashboard, and then they say, now you have to sit and wait for 2 weeks that says coming soon. Now the sign on your site says coming soon. And so I lost 2 weeks of time right there just waiting, because I don't care. With this particular game, I'm certainly not trying to make money, but I do want to get it out and talk about it. So I just had to be patient. But for a new publisher, just keep in mind you're looking at about a 2-month window from beginning to end that you're just going to have to be patient with those guys, even if you have everything ready and really small, ready to go. But that's all the AI stuff. That's everything I did. If you have done any publishing work for your games and you use AI in different ways, I'd love to hear about it from you. Give me any comments down in the comments below. Thanks.